Hello and welcome to the Nerd Age Podcast. This is a show we talk about everything nerdy. My name is Jonah, and I'm joined by Corey, Josh,
what's up,
and Mick.
Hey.
We're so glad you're here with us. We are going to jump right into a new segment on the show. Corey, go ahead. Give us the introduction to what this is going to be.
We're going to call it Corey's Top 10 Tips. I don't know. I don't know. Look, there's a fun thing that a lot of different nerd groups do where they do their top 9 or their top 10 of whatever. So today we're going to be doing our top 10 favorite movies. Now there's a couple rules. Okay. So this is kind of going to be a little window or a pretty big window of each person's tastes here and in their preferences in movies. But we're going to count just, if you said Lord of the Rings, it's the whole series. We'll specify which movie, I guess, but you can't say 3 of them are Lord of the Rings movies. Right. So we're kind of forcing you guys into that a little bit. But other than that, it's just, did it have a theatrical release? Then it's on the board.
Nice.
So anything goes. But yeah, so I think we should start it off with someone who's really sure of their top 10. And I think Josh is a good one to go at.
Well, you said theatrical. All mine are direct to, they're all Hallmark movies.
Hallmark movies?
Yeah.
And are we going through all 10 of the list? Okay.
Let's go one by one.
Oh, I got to start?
Yeah.
And remember, sorry, this isn't like 10 to 1. It's not like this is my one favorite. No, we're just doing 10. That's the top of your favorites.
Yeah.
Not in any order. But you can go one by one and we can kind of talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
So you got your list ready?
I got my list. No cheating here.
I mean, I know we're going to have some overlap.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in the flexers, like the flex movies. What are the differences going to be?
I got to admit, this was pretty hard.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I really like that movie. But I haven't really, I haven't watched it in forever.
Yeah.
But I still really like that movie. So does that still make it one of my favorite movies if I haven't watched it in 10 years? I don't know. The viewer can decide. That's up to you at home to judge.
Well, and the question is it like if I only had 10 movies to live off of?
So
or is it more of a, these are my favorites?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I said more favorites.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see your strategy.
My list is going to be what I ended up going to is ones that I kind of defined me, I guess. Like, even though
should be a window into your taste.
Even though I haven't seen in a while, I'm like, for some reason that when I watched it just like sticks with me.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it'll be interesting to see.
Yep. So start it off, Chip. What do we got?
I mean, we'll start out easy, guys. That's Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Return of the Jedi.
Okay, so Star Wars.
That's taking my Star Wars slot.
Okay.
Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie. If you listen back to our Star Wars show,
Okay.
Yep.
top of the list there.
That's right.
So I mean,
And we've talked about Star Wars a lot, so we don't have to go too much.
We don't have to go too much into it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted a nice little soft one in there.
Yep.
You know, I gotta keep it in my top 10.
Safe bet. Yep. Solid choice.
Okay.
You're down to 9.
I'm down to 9. Number 9, Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, the OG.
Beauty and the Beast,
The new one. The live
the new
action.
one. Pff, top 10 for sure. For me,
I thought you guys liked that. I thought you and Crystal liked that.
Nah, it's fine.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
It doesn't hold a
changed the
candle
story,
to the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me,
Beauty and the Beast.
I like animated movies. I like Disney movies.
Nominated for Best
and
Picture.
for me, Beauty and the Beast is the best Disney animated movie. I got to keep it on there.
Yeah.
Music's great.
Okay.
The Beast. What more can you say about it? Go on, try and roast me, guys. What are you gonna do? What?
Do you think do you identify as the Beast?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
Kill the Beast.
that's right.
And sometimes you identify as the Beauty as well, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Sometimes it
depends on
identifies
the
as
day.
Gaston.
As Lumiere, mostly. And yeah, he was way cooler as the Beast. Once he
Yeah.
turned into the prince, you're like, dude, that guy was
Heck yeah,
stupid.
dude.
That's
That's
the
the
one. That's the
one bad part.
one.
I turn a
miss.
miss.
That's the one miss. Is he looks super lame.
Okay.
All right, that's 9. Let's say 8. Return of the King.
Okay.
Okay.
So I gotta say,
Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. This one's hard for me because I love I love all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then if I'm going through the individual movies, I'm like, I feel like Return of the King has some of the best moments in it, and it's obviously the wrap up of the whole
culmination
thing.
of everything. Yeah.
It was a tough one though. So
Yeah.
trying to decide between they're really close, and basically ranking of which ones if I have a favorite or whatever. Okay. Saving Private Ryan.
Okay. Yeah.
Had to go with a war movie
So
on
this
there.
is the war. Sorry, is there only one war movie on your list?
Yeah. Only one war.
So
only
this is the
war
one
movie.
you chose.
This is the movie I chose.
Okay. And why is that?
I feel like it's just something that we grew up watching. It defined my taste in war movies, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched some of the older movies like Patton, which is not. I mean,
Right.
it's a pretty old school.
Bridge
Hardly
over
any
River
action.
Kwai, those kind of ones.
those kind of movies. But
Yeah.
I feel like Saving Private Ryan, it was such a I guess an experience for me at that age, when I was super young. I don't know why my parents were letting me watch.
But
They wouldn't let you watch Malcolm in the Middle.
Exactly.
That is crazy.
They're like, hey, no witchcraft, but hey, we're storming D-Day, the beaches of Normandy,
there's a
baby.
difference. I can understand it because there's an aspect of this is what
Yeah, this is what
this
people,
is history.
Yeah, right.
This is what. So I think there's a
What? You don't think there was a dad who speed walked in a park?
absolutely,
Come on, bro. That's
but what I'm
history.
saying,
That's
there is that
You're
element
talking
where you're
about
like,
that, yeah.
where you're like, there you need to watch how brutal this is. What people went
You mean
through.
more of an educational
Yes.
piece?
Same
As
reason
long
they
as
let
there's
you
no
watch
sex in
Titanic.
it, that's kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Saving Private Ryan is on there. Batman Begins
Wow.
is what I got
Batman
for.
Begins.
Let's go.
Batman
Batman Begins.
So that trilogy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
talked about it too before when we talked about our favorite Batman movies. For me, it's just I feel like it
Wow.
really kind of defined what a superhero movie could be.
Yeah.
And taking it seriously, because we did before that we had the Tim Burton stuff, which was good, and then the Michael or Schumacher stuff, which was crazy,
Cheesier
but
stuff. Yeah.
Christopher Nolan Batman
Yep.
is a definitive
Yeah. Yep.
movie
Absolutely.
for me. The Three Amigos. It's
So
got
okay.
to be on my top 10.
And this is mainly because of your family and how much you watched it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
So like
it's still that movie still
so
holds
core.
up though.
Yeah.
And for me, it's
Yeah,
like
I mean, it holds
defining certain things, or a certain, like if we're talking about a movie that defines my sense of humor from a young age, is like it has to be Three Amigos. I lost track of where I'm
man,
at.
you
but
guys
I'm just gonna
watched
keep
it a
reading.
ton.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
remember that.
This is going to be a crazy one because it's recent, and I think Across the Spider Verse.
Oh, I was gonna say this better not be
Across the
Dune.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah. So the one that just came out.
Really?
Yep. For whatever reason, I'm
Really?
If I'm
you like that
thinking
one better than the first one?
Yeah. If I'm thinking about
Wow.
animated movies, so I love
Way, that's
animated movies.
crazy.
I like superhero movies.
Is it because of the like what you value in an animated
Crystal's
movie?
fist bumping.
And
in the
this
other
one
room.
had a better
fist bumping?
quality.
Who?
In
You mean
the air.
fist pumping?
That's what I said.
I think you said fist bump.
Oh, she's doing this in the other room.
Air fist bump.
Yeah. It's just,
Because there's a big difference between those two movies.
yeah.
I guess is what I'm
So
saying.
for me, I think it's just I enjoy the story a lot of the second one. Being it split between like kind of Gwen's perspective and then Miles' perspective, and then just the visuals for it. For whatever
It's gotta
reason,
be the biggest factor for you. The visuals.
that too, music,
Gotta be.
music, and I like the story. So it's one of those movies that
Wow. Isn't it close for you though? Like, did you struggle to decide between the two, or unanimously you knew the second one is better in your mind?
it was close, but like for me, I think recency, and I've just been thinking about that movie a lot more.
See, that's what I'm worried about with these.
This is
recency.
this is the most recent one movie I have on here.
Okay.
And it was a little bit out of like, I was like, well, I want an animated movie, and I'm like, I can't stop thinking about Across the Spider-Verse, so it's on there.
Okay. Wow.
Truman Show.
Really?
The Truman Show.
Really?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Why?
gosh.
Why?
My gosh, what?
No, I'm saying
We have
our
the same effing list.
Our list is exactly the same.
Well, I mean,
Almost.
you guys grew up in the same house.
I know that-
You guys grew up in the same house. You guys are watching the same thing.
Okay, that is true.
You guys had limited access.
The Truman Show for me, it's just it's a really good story.
Good thing you're going first, by the way.
I
He's
know,
gonna look
seriously,
like a
because
copycat.
basically, it has the comedy, and it also has like the in-depth like story with Truman and Jim Carrey. It's a great performance by Jim Carrey. Now I don't want to say my next one because John is going to be.
Just say it.
Okay, so we'll skip. I've got Unbreakable.
Okay. They call me Mr. Glass. I'm unbreakable.
Just go. Keep explaining it. Go ahead.
Unbreakable for me is my favorite superhero movie. Yeah, I think for me, just like music, story wise, it's kind of turns the genre on its head a little bit. It was a cult classic at the time. I think still a lot of people are kind of like, oh, what's that movie? Mm-hmm. But for me, I always just go back to, Unbreakable.
I would say it's like one of the superhero movies that isn't quite removed a lot from reality. Like it's just removed enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's almost like it's a believable, like super believable hero story, like superhero story. Like it's so interesting. I think that movie I've watched, for me, this is a lot, 3 times. Yeah. That's a lot for me. And very impressive. I struggled not putting that on mine, but nice. Okay, what's next?
So this is my last one then, because I did Across the Spider-Verse, Beauty and the Beast, Return of the Jedi, Return of the King, Truman Show, Unbreakable, Three Amigos, Batman Begins, Saving Private Ryan. My last movie. I don't think it's on your list.
I hope so.
And this was hard because there were some movies that I was like,
"Yep,
is this in my top 10? I haven't seen it in a long time."
There's no honorable mentions.
No honorable mentions. I won't mention anything. A Monster Calls.
Wow.
Is in my top 10 movies.
Oh, wow.
I don't think a lot of people have seen this movie.
I mean, it's rated very highly.
But yeah, so for me, subject matter, it hits hard. Also, like personal experience reading the book before the movie came out. I have a very visceral experience reading that book. And so the way they adapted the book, it made some changes, but still stayed true to the book. I think for me, it's just a movie. And this is one that I haven't seen. Like, it's not like, let me put on a depressing movie, of what a fun trip this is going to be. But it's just a really good story. So very emotional.
If you want to cry like a baby, put on a Monster Calls.
A Monster Calls is a good, if you were looking for a good cry.
Yeah. Would you say that these movies are probably the most impactful movies in your life, probably then?
Right. So what I wanted to kind of do is encapsulate kind of like what my tastes are. So like I do enjoy, as weird as that sounds, a sad story. Like there's something cathartic about watching a story about someone's pain and struggle and, experiencing that and how they portray it in a movie. Mm-hmm. So A Monster Calls is kind of my entry into that genre of, hey, this is a really good story. It's going to absolutely crush you. But that's what I love about movies. It's just being able to experience those,
getting that
those
emotional
feelings.
response and from
right.
Because in real life, you don't feel anything.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm heartless.
I get it.
But yeah, that's my 10.
Okay.
Nice. That's a good list. That's a great list.
So let's do I'd say. So just because your guys' lists are so similar, you don't. Do you mind doing yours next?
You want me to do mine next?
Just
I think we should do someone else.
Well, I want to know how yours is different.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a feeling that it's going to be like 8 out of 10 are the same.
Pretty close. Yeah.
So go ahead and just rail through yours.
So Lord of the Rings, but I went with a different one. My favorite one is Fellowship.
Okay.
Reason for that, Boromir at the end. I feel like it's the best made movie. It's a shorter one. Everything works. You get introduction to all the characters. You actually feel something, how they do the Gandalf stuff. It just works. The ending of it. The ending of it feels like an ending, but still with a continuation. So that's the one I have. I'm going to go through the ones that we already have together. I had Saving Private Ryan, the same. I noticed a lot of these movies, a lot of them have the same thing in common, which is the music is one of the things that really stands out. So whether that's Lord of the Rings, Saving Private Ryan, obviously just that was impactful even from the beginning. The story that it's telling, the history of it, the acting is phenomenal.
Soundtrack by the GOAT.
It's just great.
By the GOAT.
Johnny
I've got the Dark Knight trilogy, but I went for the Dark Knight.
Of course.
The reason for that is I just think even though maybe Batman Begins might be a better movie, what Heath Ledger did in The Dark Knight is just, I don't think will ever be topped.
Well, it was
So I
supposed
think
to be
you
a
gotta
Batman movie, not a Joker
Put
movie.
it
So
there.
The movie's called Dark Knight.
Unbreakable.
yeah,
Is
I know
on
this.
there.
You
Absolutely.
son of
Of
a
course
beat.
he did.
Unbreakable is one of my favorite movies. And also, if I'm able to put an M. Night Shyamalan movie, I'm going to, because I'm a M. Night Shyamalan fan. And I
You're a
love his
Shyamalama
stuff.
ding-dong.
Exactly.
He enjoys.
Unbreakable is, the music is probably one of the best soundtracks ever made. But I always tell people this. Unbreakable is a story about a broken marriage that gets repaired. And that's like the whole point of the movie. It's wrapped in like, oh, it's a kind of a superhero origin movie, but it's not. It's a story about a husband and a wife that have drifted apart. And the whole crux of the movie, the ending when he carries her up the stairs after he becomes who he's supposed to be. And then he says, you know, doesn't say a word, and he's like, I had a bad dream. That, it's just flawless. The movie is
Not a dry eye in the theater.
Movie's a perfect movie. It's a perfect movie. The Truman Show, I have it as well.
That's crazy. I didn't think you'd have Truman Show on there.
The music in this, again, Philip Glass is the composer. This movie is another 10 out of 10. It's perfect. It's great.
10 out of 10, baby.
Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, I think this is his best performance. A serious performance, but still has like the goofy Jim Carrey side.
Yeah.
But this is like genuine. It's written extremely well. All the actors are good. I love The Truman Show. What else did you have that I...
Three Amigos.
I don't have the Three Amigos. And Beauty and the Beast is not on here, although it was one that I was there at the end.
Hey, no, I don't
Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, obviously. What am I at? Lord of the Rings. Zack Snyder's trilogy, Man of Steel, BVS.
I thought you were going to say Rebel
Zack Snyder's
Moon.
Justice League. Man of Steel is... I like it. The more I watch it, the more I like it over Nolan's trilogy. I think it's the best superhero movie done. And that's saying a lot because I'm a huge Batman fan, but Superman's kind of Man of Steel is just, it's great. I don't find any problems with it. I know you guys don't like the ending. Too long.
Ending's fine, bro. That's the middle part.
You guys, the battle scene is too long. A lot of people say.
I love all Man of Steel. Don't be putting words
He
in
is
my
looking
mouth.
at me.
So the other,
He said guys.
Yeah, you guys.
well, we've had this discussion before.
Have we?
Back to the Future is on my list.
Oh, wow.
Which one?
Part 2.
No way, dude. That's crazy.
Part 2.
Same,
Why
bro.
part 2?
Part
No
2. I
way.
love Part 2. Everyone says, oh, it's just a rehash of the first one. But I love the fact
Dude.
that you're seeing the first one, which was great, and then he's trying to avoid himself.
Yeah.
That to me is like incredible.
That's
I
pretty
love it.
mind-blowing.
I
At the
love,
time, you're
I
like,
love them going
time,
into the
dude.
future, all that kind. It's just so good. Everything's great. I love Back to the Future. That was growing up watching those was just like that was my favorite trilogy.
Yep.
Watching them at Corey's house. That's where we watched them all the
That's where we
time.
watched them.
I love them all, but I think 2 has a special place in my
Nice.
heart.
Agreed.
You want my Back to the Future poster I have?
I mean, sure. What am I at? 1, 2,
I don't know,
3,
bro. You guys should just be
4,
going up and down
5.
your list.
Nah, I like to.
7,
You know,
8.
it's like a-
I'm at
you
8.
spin a
Started
roulette.
off with like
I
5
got
and
2
9,
more.
and then you started jumping. I was like, well, I don't know why he numbered them, but he's going.
Gladiator.
Okay, there we go. That's
Gladiator.
I figured you'd say Gladiator. I figured you'd say Gladiator.
Gladiator is again.
I'll also say another one I thought you guys would say. Planet of the Apes. Where are you
It
guys?
was close.
Where are
It
you
was
guys?
close.
Best movie ever. I love
It was
every one of
close.
them. 10 out of 10. Bro, where's that
close.
energy right now?
It was. I'm
That's
telling you.
crazy you didn't say it, by the way.
It was
That's
close.
crazy.
It
It
was
was
close.
close too, man. But I gotta
did
be true
consider
to
it?
my heart.
I had it on my list. It didn't make it. You guys will be maybe surprised at what bumped it. But Gladiator music, again, one of the best soundtracks by Hans
Gladiator's
Zimmer.
great. Yeah.
The acting, everybody's good. Joaquin Phoenix should have won an Oscar for his role. Russell Crowe is awesome. It's just, again, an incredible movie. It sticks with you. I love it.
I love
Last one.
I love it.
Last one.
This is what bumped Planet of the Apes.
This bumped a lot of them.
Finding Nemo.
Okay, you can only
Well,
bump
can we
one.
guess?
Go ahead.
Finding Nemo.
Was that no?
That was on
that got bumped.
Yeah, I would have guessed.
You already said a Zack Snyder movie.
I've talked about this movie before.
I would hope so.
Prestige?
It's on your.
No.
Yeah, that's another one. I
It's
thought
an
you guys
older
would say
movie.
too.
How older?
You guys like
Ben-Hur.
woo? That would have been crazy.
Spartacus.
No way.
Are we
Not
in
that
the,
old.
Are we in
This
the
is
this is-
crazy
no.
old. Yeah.
I don't know. I got nothing.
All right.
This is wild.
Let's hear it.
Groundhog Day.
way.
Groundhog Day is one of
Are you just saying that because Groundhog Day was like last week?
no.
Yeah, it was
This
literally last
is
week.
I watch this
4 days
movie every year, maybe twice a year.
You do?
It's so good.
See, I love
Bill
We're
Murray.
doing this, guys.
That's why you
I
learn
love this.
something
This
new.
is such a good window into everyone's preference.
I love Bill Murray. I tear up every time when he's trying to save the old homeless guy. Like when he's like trying to giving him mouth to mouth, and he's like, come on, no, don't not today, not today. And he's trying to save him. I love the whole aspect of that story where the guy's an idiot, a jerk.
Yeah.
He goes through this whole aspect of where he tries to kill himself. He's so desperate. He then does he becomes a good person, all this kind of stuff. It's like the whole story is perfect. It's funny. Bill Murray's awesome. He's one of my favorite actors. The aspect of the real life tragic aspect of that it was Harold Ramis directing, who was one of the Ghostbusters, who was really good friends with Bill Murray. When they made this movie, their friendship ended and they didn't talk and collaborate until Harold Ramis was on his deathbed in 2014. And that's where Bill Murray went to him and they reconciled. But this was the last movie they worked on together where they had a blow up and they severed their relationship. And so there's a tragedy in the story that it's this movie is so good. There's a real life aspect of it. That's why Ghostbusters, the last one, was so good to me, because it felt like them having that moment was like a real life thing happening in Ghostbusters. It was just this movie to me is one of the best, and I love it. And I had to put it on.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think there's a lot to unpack there. What you just talked about. I don't think we have time for that right now. But that is so interesting because it's more than just the movie.
There's a back to it. But interesting is we watched
complimenting that.
I watched that movie. I don't remember where I watched it. It was probably in some hotel room.
Yeah.
It was on cable.
You were the flipper boy.
And my dad was, and my dad, we were watching it, and I just loved it. And then it would be on every once in a while when we, my parents never owned it, but I remember watching it 3 or 4 times, and it just stuck with me. And I'd always be everything about it. And growing up was and then when I heard the backstory of it, because I loved Bill Murray so much, it was Harold Ramis and how they connected so much, and then they're never doing any movies again together. That to me was it was interesting. So I love Groundhog Day. Like I said, I watch it every year. It's just good.
See, I never knew that about it.
Yeah. I mean,
I've got the Steelbook. It's on my wall.
Nice.
yeah.
It's a good one.
Not a dumb one.
That's the movie I was talking about. That's the stupid one. Groundhog Day is probably one of the worst movies.
So I was we had a conversation last week where you're saying you have a bad one.
Did you find it?
No, well,
bad what?
I didn't. I said that all the Steelbooks I buy are good movies, and Josh was like, "You have a dumb one," and I was like, "No, I don't." Think so.
I knew.
Well, I was walking through church, and Anne was like, "Hey, you own Wonder Woman 1984, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's the stupid one." I was like, okay. Okay, exactly.
It's true.
So that's my list.
That is good.
That's my list.
Wow.
It could be better.
I would have got some wrong there. That's
I know.
crazy. I would have put Planet of the Apes up there for you.
It was tough not to put that one.
Wow.
And I would have put the original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I would too.
Wizard of Oz was
underneath the
hard
Planet of
not
the
to
Apes.
put on there,
Really?
and West Side Story was also.
Hey, you said
on-
no honorable mention.
I'm just saying.
You're just cheating.
Sorry.
Yeah, you
sorry.
are cheating. Minus a point? I don't know.
Yeah. Worst list? Yes. Okay. Okay.
All right, Mick, let's hear it.
All right. I guess I'll start with their similar things.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have a lot of
Go over the
those.
basics. Yeah.
So I'll start
We're
with
friends for a
Lord of the
reason,
Rings. I picked Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah. Two fellows.
A lot of the same reasons you said earlier. It just the establishment of the Middle Earth world was just done so well, especially with the extended edition. It just with Bilbo's voiceover throughout the beginning of the movie, it just really cements you into like just this other second world that just I don't think has been beaten in any other fantasy movie or show or anything like that. So, like you said too, Boromir. Over the years, he's definitely become my favorite character, and his arc is just incredible in the movie. And with his death scene at the end, it's so emotionally impactful. And I do think it's probably I don't know if it's the best looking film, but it just something about the way the film actually looks. I think there's just less like post coloring or something about it. It's easier to look at. I don't know if that makes sense, but so yeah, I would say Fellowship of the Ring, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. I think
Let's
we were
go,
both
baby.
Return of the Jedi. Last time we talked about Star Wars, just
Yup, nup gang.
it's just a great ending to the original trilogy. I love all the reconcile things with Luke and Vader. It just is done so well. And again, like it's just the end point with Luke from when he started is he's just a completely different character, which is just it's so fun to see character transformation like that over 3 movies. So let's see. I also had Across the Spider-Verse.
Whoa.
Yep.
Let's go,
Um,
Nick.
Wow. Shocked.
That was a little tough between the first movie because I really, really, really liked the first movie.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I feel like you guys are discounting the fact that it was like the first of its kind. It was a trailblazer, and I think that it was the second. Obviously, the second one
I agree
wouldn't be
with
there for
that.
the first one, but
Yeah.
like, the music was also really good in the first one too.
It definitely was. I think that everything about the second one was just done bigger and better without obviously having like the first.
Because it had
No.
more Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's right. More
And
Spider-Man.
that's the other thing about the movie is, and the fact that it's a multiverse movie, it didn't feel so crowded and just boring like other multiverse stuff has been, I think, in the past with superhero movies. So I think they just went about it in a really interesting, fun way. I loved the more detailed stuff with Gwen's story because it really felt like her movie for like at least half the runtime, which was fun. So it just felt new and fresh, and it leaves you wanting more. Which who knows when that's gonna happen. Let's see. Dark Knight trilogy. Also Batman Begins. I think
You're the smartest person in this room. Nick.
Thank you.
Aside from me, of course.
likewise. I think I love the other 2 movies, but again, I think I'm just also a sucker for origin films. Except this goes against what I just said about Across the Spider-Verse. Ignore that. I'm a sucker for origin
Smartest
films.
guys in the room.
Smartest
guys in the room.
When I say,
Right there.
but that movie to me it feels the most comic booky out of the trilogy. I think The Dark Knight it feels so real world crime that it kind of loses that comic book feel that I think Batman Begins just nailed so well. Because it also does feel very like, oh, this is Batman in real life, but there are still those kind of theatrical elements with Scarecrow and
Where are you?
here.
Wow, that was good.
And I do think I'm not really that bugged by Christian Bale's voice as it,
It's the least
but it's
Batman.
It's the least.
In this
it's
one,
the
as in
least
the other one.
gravelly.
Yeah.
There's more nuance, and he changes it, and I think it makes more sense. The most sense in that movie. So, I do think the fight scenes get better though throughout the. I mean, Dark Knight Rises probably has the best fight stuff with him and Bane. The fight scenes in Batman Begins are pretty pretty underwhelming. It's just a lot of shaky cam, quick motion, and that's probably my main complaint about the movie. But the music was awesome by the GOAT, one of the GOATs, Hans Zimmer.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was Batman Begins. Oh man, this was difficult because after that I was like, oh, that's like my go-to movies that I watch.
What?
So I had Indiana Jones,
Yeah, which one?
Kingdom. I like that one.
the
Destiny.
fourth one. Yeah,
You have that as number one.
it was between the fourth and the fifth one. I couldn't tell.
I'm going to say Last Crusade.
Anybody else?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I think it's Raiders.
It's Raiders.
100%.
It's to your credit though, I go back and forth between those two all the time. I think right now I'm just more in a Raiders
mood.
But man, that character is just like so unique in his adventures and just who he is as a character, especially around that time, because that's when, there was the Arnold Schwarzeneggers and Stallone's, being unbeatable characters. And here comes Indiana Jones, who's so relatable. He gets beat up all the time. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's such a fun character to watch throughout those movies.
I mean, it really defined the adventure
the
genre.
Yeah.
Like I can't really think of anything before that was true world opening and like just so adventurous in that way.
Yeah. And I mean, he's definitely based on other characters, but like how Star Wars is, it takes that inspiration and makes just a new thing out of it that just really defines that genre, like you were saying. So
And what a score.
what a score.
What a score indeed.
Who did that one?
I don't remember. Okay, so I felt like I had to have like a comedy on this list, and this is by far my favorite comedy.
Hangover.
It was so close between this and Tropic Thunder, but for my comedy, I had Hot Fuzz. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie.
Hot Fuzz?
Hot Fuzz is just the
no way.
the most whack like.
See, I think this is great though. This is giving us a window into Mick.
It is
Hot Fuzz?
It is such a funny movie.
Everything starts to make sense now.
It's Edgar Wright, right?
Yeah.
His style is just so fun to watch, and with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, their just chemistry together is so fun and so great. And there's so many other fun characters and cameos in that movie. It's such a fun ride, and I think I definitely like it the best out of his Coronado trilogy.
I mean, I almost put Paul Blart Mall Cop on mine.
What's part of that trilogy?
Shaun of the Dead
Okay. I like Shaun of the
World's
Dead.
End.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember what. I never watched that one. Actually.
I didn't watch that one
That
either.
one's it's fine. I know a lot of people say that Shaun of the Dead is the best one,
I like
but
that one.
I honestly get a little bored with it at times.
Sure.
But to me, Hot Fuzz is just so rewatchable, so quotable. It's so fun. I love it.
Nice.
Let's see. And then I was like, I need a Western on this list. So I went
Let's hear
with
it.
310 to Yuma.
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
I think by far that's my favorite Western. It's an awesome acting by Christian Bale, Russell Crowe. The story that they tell with Christian Bale just having an amazing redemption and proving to his son that he's not lame. it's so fun.
It's accurate.
I think I just love it. It's a
Got
great
that
Western.
steelbook.
Great music too. Great music. That's another thing. I think we pretty much all agree that music is a big part of why we pick these movies, and all of these movies have, maybe except for Hot Fuzz, but has just a great
The Hot Fuzz.
has a great soundtrack. So after that, for a war film, I picked 1917.
Okay.
That's good.
I think it's I love Saving Private Ryan, but 1917 to me is just, it's so unique with its storytelling device, with the continuous shot. The music is phenomenal. I really wish it won Best Picture. Still a sore spot, but the emotional beats that happen with those two soldiers throughout the movie. I don't really spoil anything, but like, it's just, I remember watching it in theaters, and by the end of the movie, you're just like emotionally exhausted because the way the story is told is you're with these guys throughout the whole movie, and you really just start feeling what they're going through and what they're talking about and their emotions. And it's really like unlike any other movie I've ever seen. It's just phenomenal.
Nice.
Amazing. So that's why that's on my top 10.
Sweet.
And then my last two, I have Inception.
Nice.
I don't know what hasn't been said about Inception, but just a great science fiction, mind-bending movie with a great score, great cast of characters, and a great emotional, just, I think, theme to it with him trying to get back to his kids. I'm a sucker for emotion, so I like that a lot.
And that Nolan was robbed. He should have won
Absolutely.
Best Director for that.
Absolutely. And then finally, I have another Nolan film, Interstellar.
Wow.
Wow, 3 Nolan films.
Yeah, I guess so.
The GOAT.
I thought about it. I thought about putting some more Nolan, but I was like, I've got my trilogy that covers my Nolan.
Yeah, I had
right.
Prestige floating around too, but I think Interstellar
I
to
figured you guys
me.
would put one on there.
Yeah, I think Interstellar to me, it has the Zimmer score that just is, it blows your face off every time you listen to it. The visuals are amazing. It's been almost 10 years now, and they look like they're better than anything that's coming out right now.
Better than She-Hulk?
A little bit.
Can we do a Nolan top 10?
I mean,
Yeah, that's going to be hard. Yeah.
Nice. That's great.
Nice. Good list.
Yeah.
All right. And now down to the final list. Let's see your insight.
Well, I will say, so obviously Lord of the Rings is going to be on my list, right? Return of the King. But I will say it's more than just a great film and series. I think that the reason why it's on my list is because it really ignited a huge interest in fantasy and that whole genre for me. It's not that it wasn't there, but it really painted the picture fully for me. And for our generation, it was such a defining movie for culture that it's got to be on the list. One that I'm probably going to get some hate on is
The Rocketeer.
And I will say this because there's so many of the movies. This is kind of a little bit of a cheat, but
The Minions.
I'm going to take a Harry Potter.
Okay.
I'm going to say Half-Blood Prince. And I will say that Harry Potter is also another genre kind of culture defining thing for me as well. I read all the books multiple times, and, I watched this high school, time and early college, but it's just one of those things, one of those movies that it's not this super deep taxing your emotions, all that. It's more just like fun and interesting, and it's fantasy, and it's a fun, creative space. And there are some emotions in the later ones, but not nearly as much as the movies we're talking about, Saving Private Ryan and stuff like that. But yeah,
I'm kind of shocked that there was no Harry Potter on Mick's list. I thought for sure.
That's surprising. Yeah. But I think Harry Potter has a lot going for it.
It was difficult because there's just so many other movies too. It's just it's really hard to pick.
It's tough, guys. I didn't make it easy for us. Star Wars: Return of the Jedi.
Heck yeah.
Self-explanatory.
Heck yeah.
I will say The Dark Knight, hands down, is my favorite one. The aspect of you guys saying, "Oh, it was more comic booky." Batman Begins. I like this one for the other way. I wanted it removed because we've seen, all the old school superhero, like Superman, like the first Superman and stuff like that. So this was, I would say this was a huge step for comic book movies. I think, the whole trilogy, of course, but The Dark Knight really stepped it up big time. The weight of it, the stakes were huge, and I just love Batman as well. So this is my favorite one. Next one's a fun one. Also, I would say that this movie was probably the most concise in making me tear up, and probably the world record for fastest tear up ever. Up. This movie is awesome. The story is so good. I've rewatched it several times. Up's S tier for sure. I had to put in some standard animated, like Pixar style.
Yeah.
This is the one I fell on.
Yeah.
I was so close in putting Toy Story.
I had that.
I know I said no honorable mentions, but I made this up so I can break the rules if I want. I thought you'd put Toy Story up there.
It was
you
on
said
there.
It's your favorite.
It was on there.
Yeah.
And then
It got kicked.
it got kicked.
By Groundhog Day.
And the Truman Show.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Although I would have picked Toy Story 4, which I think a lot of people would be like,
so
you got to pick
people
3.
Go with one. Oh, really?
but-
I'd say people go with 1.
I think 4 was awesome. So,
Is
and
that
we got
the one-
some Toy Story news coming up at the end in news.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. This is awesome because I didn't think. You know what? My list is kind of a unification of the team, the group here. We've got LOTR, we got Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Dark Knight, Inception.
Heck yeah.
I'm right there with you, buddy. I think this movie actually blew my mind when I first watched it, and it was also culture defining and also changed my thought process on what movies really could be. And that's why the next one is Interstellar. So bang bang.
Oh, nice.
100%. This movie was really emotional for me. Where Inception, there's some emotion there, but it was more like mind blowing. This one really pulled on the heartstrings.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it.
Yep.
The score is so immense and powerful and so emotion driven and just evokes so much emotion. It's just so good. And it was cool because it really tests your knowledge of does it work like that? Like how does light years work? Wait, what? This time
Gravity
crazy.
does that?
The time thing was crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas it was X amount of years and minutes for him is crazy. So time based, let's go to Back to the Future. I'm going with number 2. And you said that.
My man.
I will say this. I think it was so cool to see exactly what you said, where you run it back with the first one in a different point of view. Super creative. Love that. But also kind of just seeing the funny, goofy, future that they realistically thought the future would look like. We still don't have real hoverboards like that. So that's kind of a disappointing thing. We have hoverboards that have wheels. It's stupid. They lied. I wouldn't do the Nerd Age podcast accurate service if I didn't have an anime. So I don't think animes do super well in movie form. I think they do really well when it's a series because they have more time to expand that character development and story. But because it was one of the first animes I ever watched, Spirited Away is going to be on my top 10. Awesome, beautiful story, very interesting, very eye-opening, and the music's amazing. And my last one's Saving Private Ryan.
Nice.
So see how mine was kind of like this unification of as like a little bit of everything. But yeah, that's our top 10s. What do you guys think? Was there any surprises? I think the Groundhog Day surprised
That was
me.
surprising.
The fact that you'd put what was it? The hump in the air one. What's that one called?
Oh, the hump
Three
in the
Amigos.
air.
Three
Oh, like
Amigos.
Three Amigos?
That one.
Okay.
Three Amigos. I'm surprised you dedicated a spot on your top 10 to that.
I had to include a comedy.
Yeah, right.
I took kind of the Truman Show as kind of comedy.
And then you put Groundhog Day on there.
Yeah, that is
that's
true.
what I
That's
thought
a technical
too.
comedy.
But I didn't, I thought for a little bit about Anchorman, but I was like, nah.
It's not good enough.
It's not
it's not good
it
enough.
was good
It
for the
is great,
moment.
yeah.
There was a moment there, but it doesn't. I haven't it doesn't last.
You know what I almost put on there? Rush Hour. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Dude, that's so good.
I
bro.
honestly thought about
It's so good.
doing it when you first mentioned I was like, it's got to be a Jackie Chan. I got to put a
Shanghai
Jackie
Noon.
Chan movie
Yeah,
on there.
dude.
And then I was like,
Or Shanghai
When's
Nights
the
because
last
of what
time
that
I
means,
watched
yeah.
a Jackie Chan movie?
Rush Hour, dude. So funny. You got to go back and watch it. It's so funny.
One that is
good.
that was on my list early, and then it got bumped down. But this movie is with how you said A Monster Calls. This is one that I've watched 4 times, and I've cried equally the same amount every time I watch this. It's called About Time.
What movie
Oh,
is that?
this guy.
No,
What is this?
it's like a rom-com kind of thing.
It's good. It's good.
It's got Margot Robbie in it. It's got Rachel McAdams. It has whoever the Weasley boy is.
He's the Weasley boy. There's 7 of them.
Yeah, but doesn't he play one of the Weasleys?
Oh,
Yeah,
like
he's
Bill?
He's Bill. He's what's his face's son.
Okay. Mr.
He's General
Weasel's
Hux
son.
from.
Yeah, General Hux.
Okay.
Anyways,
Got it.
this movie,
Domino Gleason.
this
Domino.
movie absolutely destroys me every time because it's about it.
It's about time, isn't
It's
it?
about it's time traveling. The men in their family have the ability to time travel, and they can. And when they turn a certain age, they can time travel. And so he has a sister and his dad,
Sounds
and
like hacks.
it basically. But there's certain rules. They can't do a certain thing, and then after they have kids, they can't do it because then they can change the baby. Does that make sense? It's a really interesting way.
It's like whatever
It
the
is an
lowest
interesting
generation
premise.
should have the control over the time. Got it.
Right. And so if he goes back beyond where he has kids, then the kid changes.
Right.
Because a different sperm made it.
Whoa.
Like that's the kind of how it works. Anyways,
how it works?
This show, this movie,
Time travel works.
this movie ends up being about a father and son relationship. And the ending of the movie is just absolutely like beautiful, but heartbreaking.
Okay. What's it called? It's about time.
It's called About Time.
It's about time.
It's about dang time.
It's so good. I really think it's one of the
I'll watch
best
it.
movies I've seen.
I need to watch that then.
It's good.
Because everything else I've watched, but that's the only one I haven't heard of.
Yeah, you should watch it.
About time. It's about dang time. I almost put Coco there. And because I have a lot of sentimental connection to that movie for some reason, timing wise in my life, there's a lot of stuff going on. And that one really pulls the heartstrings for me. And I don't think I've cried more from the movie, weirdly enough. But there's a lot of stuff there. So I almost put that one there. It was very close, very close.
Yeah, that's one of a Pixar movie is something I was missing on my list, but I was pretty close.
Bro, I almost dropped Wall-E, dude.
Yeah, well, I almost
Because it's ultra creative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it evokes emotion without any words except for the freaking made up one, Wall-E. Crazy. What was there anything that you kind of were on the fence with?
You already said it. Planet of the Apes was one that I was like.
You also have a million movies.
I like all of them are well, not all of them. Some of the old ones, the later
Tim
ones
Burton one's
after are like
pretty
but yeah, Planet of the Apes is one that missed out. 1917 was one of I was thinking of war movies. I'm like 1917 could have been on there. For Pixar, I was actually leaning Onward. Actually, Onward's one of those Pixar movies that I feel like doesn't get enough credit. And
I'm like that with The Good Dinosaur.
I like The Good Dinosaur too.
Oh yeah, you love The Good Dinosaur.
So yeah, I wasn't gonna go. I was like, oh, the Up is good, but then for whatever reason, I was getting pulled towards Onward more. But yeah, it's a tough exercise.
It's tough.
Nice. Well, hey, we're gonna do this more. We are gonna do top 10s more often. Who knows? The next one might be video games. It might be TV shows. Who knows? But we'll have your eyes peeled for that one. But yeah, let's move on to news, huh?
Yeah, we got some
maybe a little nerd news roundup.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
First thing I wanted to kind of get you guys' thoughts on. We got our official Grogu, Mandalorian and Grogu.
So that was accurate.
Officially announced that it's going to be coming out in 2026.
The title was right. The title was right?
And it's going to be the first movie since Rise of Skywalker, which came out in 2019. So finally, we got a Star Wars movie in theaters. What do you guys think of the title? And are you guys excited for this?
What is the title?
Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu,
which is what
the title.
Which is what they leaked earlier. Whoever had that source,
and they put out the little title.
And people didn't like the title. They said it wasn't super creative or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, it tells you exactly what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the most exciting.
The Force Awakens. It's not that kind of.
It's not. Yeah.
Who's the last Jedi?
yeah.
Is it one Jedi or plural?
There's no mystery to this.
The last Mandalorian.
So it might feel a little maybe not accurate to Star Wars. Like it's not following suit. But
it's Solo a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think they do well. They'll do better if they mention Grogu and
probably. I mean that's
like everyone knows.
I was just trying to think what other thing could you say that people would know. You can't be like the bounty hunter,
last bounty,
and the green guy.
It has to. You have to know what it's who's the character, right? Because if you say Star Wars, The Last Bounty. You're like, oh, is that a Boba Fett movie? Right?
Right.
You need to, they're in a bad position where you need to be like, it has to be The Mandalorian and Grogu.
How about Star Wars, like father, like son?
There you go.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda and the other guy. Din and Baby Yoda. So there you go.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting title, but whatever.
Yeah, you kind of, that's the same thing I thought. I was like, what's another option you can do? You can't really.
And they didn't mention any like, oh yeah, and we're having 4 episodes of The Mandalorian before it.
No,
Nothing
actually,
like that, right?
Someone was interviewing Dave Filoni, and he was like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're still not sure. Obviously, I think they know what they're doing, but they're not going to say.
They're not going to announce
so,
it.
There's rumors that they're doing a season 4, like 4 episodes or 6 episodes before the movie. But I don't know.
But they didn't announce it.
I'm wondering if they're kind of rethinking that, because then you're like, well, that means people are going to have to go watch that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you might just be like, no, let's just have the movie, and you can do a little recap in the opening crawl.
Well, whatever you were going to express in those 4 episodes, just do that in 20 minutes in the movie at the beginning.
Yeah.
Condense it down, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't think it's beneficial for them to make it dependent on you watching 4 episodes.
Right. And the other, like in sad news, Carl Weathers passed away. So I wonder if that also changes things. If they have planned to be like, hey, well, Grief Karga's character's doing certain things. Then that kind of changes the whole dynamic. They're
That's
like,
kind of
well,
where we left off. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that element, which is really sad news because, I mean, he looked healthy. He looked good. He was planning on
directing,
coming back to do more stuff. So that's really a bummer.
Yeah.
And but I think that changes kind of some of their plans, because he's a big character in the Mando universe. So you would think he was going to be in the movie.
Probably one of the bigger.
He was going to be in season
characters.
4. He's probably going to be in Skeleton Crew, I would assume. So there's rumors that that's connected to the Mando universe. And so that to me is kind of interesting. Like, that probably sets things up in the air now. It's like, do you recast?
Yeah.
You just be like, hey,
I think you can dodge around it.
yeah,
I think you can.
You know, or you just kill the character off screen, you know, give him a tribute or something, you know, a statue in.
Yeah, next to the droid.
You know, yeah, like something like that. You'd be like, he dies off screen, and then it's like, oh, or he. I was thinking like you would probably do something like, oh, pirates came in and he saved the whole city by doing something, sacrificed himself. See that off screen, and then there's just that tribute of the character. But more importantly, Carl Weathers. But so I think that kind of puts them in a situation where like, well, what are we really going to do here?
Yeah.
So, well, let's stay on the Disney news. They announced a bunch of Pixar movies that are coming out. So upcoming Disney and Pixar sequels. 2024 is going to have Inside Out 2. And they just dropped a little teaser for Moana 2. For those Moana fans. You're a fan? Although,
I love Moana.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is not doing the music for Moana 2. 2025 is going to be Zootopia 2. I like Zootopia.
Zootopia is a great movie.
So,
Great movie.
and then 2026, Frozen 3 and Toy Story 5 are going to be the animated ones. So, interesting slate. Are there any of these that you guys are really excited for? I know we like Pixar and animated stuff, but is there anything that sticks out to you as far as like more excited, or are you indifferent to this slate?
I think Toy Story 5 is interesting to me. I hope they go some different route. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. They've done so many different like offshoots where it's like it's not the same story really, and they're going all over the place and creating new little like communities and like I don't know, like what else is next?
Yeah, Woody and Woody stayed with Bo Peep and the other ones left. I saw an interview with Tim Allen.
Me too. I was going to talk about this.
He said he thought it would be cool if like Andy had kids now,
grows up,
and so he finds like his kids playing with some of his old toys, and then he has to go around and recollect his toys. You know, like he was like, what if he had like, now it was his kids he was passing on, but he's like, oh, I used to have a Woody, and now I'm going to go like find.
He goes and kicks down the door to that girl he dropped off the toys.
No,
at.
but like the aspect of like, and then it's now the
Bonnie,
kids.
give me the toys.
It's now the kids with his toys.
She's like,
kind
I'm
of
full
thing.
grown. What are you doing? I mean,
I sold those on eBay, bro.
Yeah. So that would be kind of interesting. I don't know what the story's going to be.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. A lot of people said they shouldn't have done 4, and I really liked 4.
Yeah.
I like 4.
So it
what
worked
was
for
a
me.
cool one?
Yeah, I think Inside Out's the one I'm the most excited
Yeah,
about.
I think so too.
Yeah, the Toy Story 5. It almost seems like how many more?
I feel a little scared. I
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
don't tarnish it. Just like whatever you put out, just make sure it's good. Like
Yeah.
the more you do at it, the more odds you have of ruining it.
Yeah, like you hope they know when to stop.
Yeah. With Disney,
They never do.
if it prints money, they do it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Inside Out for sure. That was a good one. Really good one.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that one.
Next thing that came out of Disney.
Speaking of money,
Yes, they just announced 1.5 billion in investing in Epic Games. So Fortnite, they're doing this whole thing where like the Disney universe, Star Wars, Frozen. They did this whole little trailer where it was like all these aspects of Disney in Fortnite. So they had already done collaborations, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
now
so
Disney's kind of like putting a lot of money behind it, and it's going to be,
Disneyland.
So I don't play Fortnite. I've played it a couple times, but it's not like something I play a lot of. I know Zack Snyder plays a lot of Fortnite. Yeah. I asked Jason if he's ever gotten killed by Zack Snyder's character. Because apparently Zack Snyder plays all the time.
does he play under the screen name Zack Snyder?
No, he has like a certain like the name and a certain character. So there's this whole article that came out, and
It's like Zack Snyder spotting.
Deborah Snyder was like, I keep telling like you're playing with a bunch of 13-year-olds, and a bunch of like kids,
Yeah.
and they have no idea that Zack Snyder is like killing them, like, doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love it, I just love it. He's like, it's 4 a.m, and my wife comes in, she's like, you're still playing that? So I was like, hey, Jason, maybe you're playing with Zack
Hey,
Snyder.
you know, Zack
The more
Snyder.
you talk about Zack Snyder, the more I like him. He's a real gamer.
So Corey, what do you think about this? You probably know more about this whole world than I do. So
Yeah, it makes sense. It is a little scary, in my opinion, just because it's like, well, maybe not scary. I guess I'm being a little dramatic. But, Disney, they're smart. They understand that a lot of kids play video games.
yeah,
And so, where can they advertise to get kids to tell their mom and dad to go watch a movie? Video games. Fortnite. Perfect. Fortnite's one of the most brand friendly games out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even a small tiny little movie like Rebel Moon even did a promotion on it. But as big as Star Wars and whatever. So it's like, it makes sense because if they have stake in the company, that means they're going to probably get either a discount or better access to promotional stuff. Looks like they're going to, the way it looked like in the promo video, it looked like they're going to be maybe making like a custom map with them. Because it looked like this interesting like town with like
they
different
had
areas.
like
It almost looked like a theme park.
It looked like Disneyland. Like you have Star Wars Land, you've got just all this stuff. Yeah,
So, I mean, I think it's smart on Disney's part. It is a huge amount of money. It also kind of raises the question: is it going to just be Fortnite though? Because it said Fortnite X
and Epic.
Did it say
games.
Did it say Disney and Epic, or did it say Fortnite and Epic?
It said Disney and Epic. I think.
Yeah, Disney and Epic.
Yeah.
So it's bigger than Fortnite.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, the Epic Games, they have their whole game launcher. So they actually do publishing for video games too.
Yeah.
So this doesn't rule out the fact that maybe they get Epic Games to like make games for them using the engine that Fortnite's offer, and Unreal Engine 5 or in the style of Fortnite. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there. I think when they see game modes like Lego Fortnite really succeeding big time, that collaboration was really cool. They made their own survival game within the confines of Fortnite. Incredible. So I think Disney's really smart about this. There's a lot of potential here. And I mean, it makes sense. I'm just a little scared because it's like, well, if they can't advertise other places, they're going to advertise in games. And I'm like, do I really want advertisements in my games? No, but I don't play Fortnite, so I don't have skin in the game. You know what I mean?
Like, whatever.
But I'm like, I don't know.
Do you play Fortnite, Mick, or
No.
not your thing?
I tried when it, I think, first came out in like 2013 or whenever that was, and I've never been a huge fan of the giant
Battle Royale.
Yeah, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Mainly because I suck at them.
But hey, man, apparently they still got money because they're dropping 1.5 bill.
Yeah, that's crazy.
After they let off a lot of people, they're like, you know what? Let's put all their money into Epic Games.
We saved a bunch of money by firing a bunch of people.
Yeah.
The other thing I just have here, the Xbox Microsoft kind of announcement. People were freaking out that the Xbox console was gonna. I saw one guy tweet a thing where he's like, when you're seeing the end of the console wars, and all that stuff, because like forever it's been Sony versus PlayStation versus Xbox and Sony versus Microsoft. So a lot of people are like, it's over. Like Xbox is going to go. Microsoft is not going to be doing console gaming anymore. I don't know any of the details. So if some of you guys have more of the info, apparently that was just all over the internets. But yeah, any insights on that? What do you guys think that's all about?
Yeah, so I think it's all rumors now. What's the Xbox guy? Spencer?
Phil Spencer?
Yeah, Phil Spencer, I said today, we're going to make an announcement either this week or next week or something like that, basically, to talk about. Because the other stuff that came out was like, a lot of these Xbox exclusive games are going to come to Sony, to PS5. And so it's like, well, your whole model was you bought Bethesda so that you could have Xbox exclusives essentially. So now that those games are potentially coming to Sony, then it's like, well, then there's no exclusives anymore. I think they even said, some might come to Nintendo or whatever. I can't wait to play Starfield on my Switch.
Yeah, that's right. Excuse me, Switch 2.
It's going to look like freaking Legend of Zelda,
is that
like
has
polygonal.
Inch bigger screen,
Yeah, that's true.
apparently.
Baby. Baby.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what they announce. I mean, I think the models just changed from Xbox's Microsoft's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, he said something about like business model discussion. Like he's talking about business model stuff. So, we'll see what happens. A lot of people are freaking out. It's the end of Xbox. I'm like, no, it's not the end of Xbox. If anything, it's an evolution. So.
Well, and they haven't, like, as far as like
they haven't
consoles
like
being sold, like they're below the PlayStation 5, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's not like they're just gonna change the way they're doing.
Yeah, they need to adapt.
Yeah.
How are they going to sell more consoles? Like, how are they going to do that? I mean, they're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
So does that mean that when a bunch of people complain online about exclusives and not being able to play the latest whatever game, maybe they should rethink that? So maybe that's why they're talking about exclusives and stuff like that. I don't know. But I don't know. I just know that they want to do well. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where they're at mentally for what they think will make them succeed. because if that means opening up their library, I think that's great for everyone.
Yeah.
If that's what it is, I'm not sure. Everyone's just kind of guessing. So
it'll be interesting.
When's the announcement? So when's the announcement?
I don't know. I thought he just saw on X. He said, we're listening to you guys. We hear what you guys are,
I thought
talking about. And he said, announcement incoming or presentation incoming or something like that. And that was this week. So I would imagine either this week or next week they're going to have, because we've already had they did the Xbox kind of presentation, and then Sony did their PlayStation. So we're kind of in the presentation time for companies. So I would imagine, some type of announcement this week or next week to kind of clear up the rumors, and we'll talk about it when we get more info.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see.
Last thing I've got, potentially, there might be something else I have to on here, but a trailer dropped today for a movie that I didn't know was coming out. A Quiet Place, Day One.
like the prequel, basically.
Which is the trailer was really cool. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it, but this one seems really interesting to me. It has Lupita Nyong'o in it. She's a great actress. I thought it was cool how it had the days and showed scenes from the first Quiet Place, scenes from the second, and then the tracker goes down to one. It seems like there's going to be a lot more. I feel like in A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2, there's like, it's more suspenseful. There's more the aspect of like, oh, you're the aliens. You see one eventually every once in a while, but it's kind of like just one or two. This one seems like it's full on like
the way more hectic, way
invasion,
more chaos.
More like a monster film, kind of like Cloverfield vibes a little bit. But anyways, I thought this looked really good. What do you guys think if you guys saw the trailer at all?
I thought it looked pretty good. I just, one of the things that draws me in
One of them draws me
to the first two movies is there is a lot of like ambiguous stuff with the aliens, and you don't really know what they are or what their motive is, and it has that just mystery element to it. The thing that makes me a little bit nervous with this is I don't know how much they're going to flesh it out, and is it just going to seem like too much of something? You know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know, because I know that's happened with, you know, some of the Alien franchises in the past and Predator. It just, sometimes it just gets like, oh, we just need to go bigger and bigger, and sometimes that's not the best thing. So I don't know. I thought as a trailer though, it looked pretty good. It looks interesting, but it gives me a little bit of a pause because the first two are very like self-contained,
right?
And, you know.
Yeah, but I guess for me, that's what that's what intrigues me about it, because I'm at the point now where I want to know more about what they are, right? They've kind of like left little things like in the first two movies to be like, what was it? Like, was it a weapon? Was it, you know, this kind of stuff? They leaving little teases to what it is and not really explaining it. So I'm like, okay, now maybe this one explains a little more like of the lore of it.
Yeah.
Which that, I know what you're saying, to be like, if they go over the top with it, but I'm at the point where I'm like, I want to know more about where they come from, what they are, kind of aspect of things.
Yeah, I think it really depends on just how they do it. It also makes me a little nervous that John Krasinski is not directing it. Is that right? I think I heard that.
I didn't look into that. I don't think he is.
He's like not directing,
he's a
or
producer
not
on it or something.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really like the first two, so I really have no other reason to doubt this one, but it does give me like just a little bit of a pause.
Yeah. Corey, Josh, anything?
I mean, I thought it looked cool. The trailer looks good. I feel like I've seen this movie before in a lot of ways. You know, it seems a little bit of like a paint by numbers alien invasion movie in a lot of ways. Like there wasn't any particular thing that I saw that I was like, I've never seen that before. It's just more of I want to know more about the world, because I do enjoy this kind of world that they've built. But yeah, I mean, I think it looks good. Just based on the other movies is why I'm more interested in watching it. As far as content within, I'm like, you know, we're going to see probably a lot of the same, but I'm just kind of interested to, like you said, Jonah, the expansion of the lore is what intrigues me about it.
Yeah, I enjoy post-apocalyptic kind of event stories, and where something really bad happens, and then everyone has to figure out how to change their life to accommodate this life-changing event, right? So like little things like we're walking on sand because these are the common places we go. How do they get there? How do they figure that out? You're going to find that out, right? They're reactive to sound. Okay, but what happened? How did they learn? And why is he so war-torn? You know, we're going to see all that. So I don't know. Seeing origins of cool characters like that, I'm not against. Love seeing my boy Jim Halpert on the big screen, so I'm always down. I'm not expecting anything better than what we've already seen, obviously, because that was a very unique and cool suspense movie. But it's going to be a different type of movie, but with the same characters that I think we all enjoy. So it'll be cool.
Nice. I've got two more things.
Okay.
Sorry, we're going a little long, but I just remembered these things because I just saw one. Two things: Henry Cavill news. 2 Henry Cavill dubs. Common Cavill wins.
Oh, are you gonna talk about what he said in that interview?
So one is he said he's like, I don't have any clue what's the point of sex scenes in movies. They're pointless. He's
based.
He's like they don't do anything.
Based.
There's no point in them. He's like, I don't get them. I hate them. I was like, my man. And then you go into the comments, people are like, oh, this is so lame. I was like, shut up. Like this guy.
I like Game of Thrones.
The man. I like it. He's like, there's no point in them. There's no point in sex scenes. I'm like, you're 100%. Like he's like, there's no point in seeing people having sex in a movie.
He said in some rare cases, it's, where it warrants it, it's okay. But in 99% of the time, not warranted, not necessary.
So there's going to be no sex in Warhammer 40K?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So that moves going to my next thing. So that was the first dub. I was like, okay. Then he's promoting Argyle, and they ask him about Warhammer, and he said, he's like, it's the what did he say? It's the highest honor of my career to do this game, right? To do this project. But this is what I was like, this is what's awesome. He's like, I grew up with this.
Yeah.
He's like, I love it. He's like, but he's like, more than that, he's like, I'm in charge. So I know it's going to be done well. Like I get to say, and I was like, my man, like this is what I'm talking about. He loves it and he's putting everything into it. He got screwed over on The Witcher because stupid writers didn't want to be faithful to the story. Mm-hmm. So they ran him out of town. And now he's like, I'm steering the ship.
I'm the mayor
I'm doing
of another
it.
Town.
I'm like, my man. So
there's got to be a
common Cavill dubs, baby.
Yeah.
He might be like he's like so almost so perfect. He's probably like a serial killer. Like he has. he has
maybe
one fatal flaw.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But if Warhammer's good, shoot.
And if he doesn't get caught,
exactly.
There's got to be some negative.
There
to
is
that,
something
though.
negative.
Like there is something. Like I bet if you talk to some like writers and producers and directors, they'd be like, well, the problem is you get really limited on these little details, and you can't do a shot by shot translation of whatever canon story there is. Like there has to be some interpretation because you can't fit everything in movies, right?
Right, but
or whatever it is, a series.
But movies. I don't think he's even saying like it has to be exactly the same. But just
but
faithful.
I'm saying he's so compulsive. Like he's so. What's it called?
I'd say passionate is the word I'd use.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with a little passion. I think a few of us could use a little more passion in our lives.
Go ahead.
What are you talking about?
Go ahead. Out someone.
I'm excited for it.
This guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's the man.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah.
I would love, honestly, if he ever showed up to like some con, I would love to meet him.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
So cool. He's like top 2. I want to meet him.
He's definitely one of those
he'd
celebrities that you'd be like,
dude.
he'd actually be a cool person to meet.
Yeah.
Probably most of them you'd be like, oh, you're actually kind of just a tool that doesn't care about anybody.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like, seems like a genuine person.
He's one of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
one of us.
Dude, I would love it, dude. I'd be like, dude, what's up? And then I'd show him one of my miniatures that I've painted. He'd appreciate
have it with you? You'd be
No, like a picture of it.
I thought you were like in
Pocket mini.
in honor of.
Hey,
Hello,
good fit.
sir. Would you like to critique my mini I painted?
That would be sick if like you painted a mini and like gifted it to him.
The thing is,
do like his
like
Superman or something like that. That'd be
like
awesome.
in a world full
or
of
Witcher.
fake,
A Witcher mini would be sick.
in a world full of fake celebrities, he seems like a genuine guy. Like like you never hear anything bad about him. The only things you hear bad about him is when people are like, well, I heard he's difficult on set from writers that, that's the only thing you hear. But you're like, everyone else is like, no, I love the dude.
Yeah.
Now
he has a conscience.
And moving on from a genuine person to a fake, it's time for a James Gunn tweet to finish the show.
Aren't they called posts now?
Yeah, sure. Anyways, so DC is ramping up. Jurassic Park is coming. The new Jurassic Park movie is coming out a week before Superman Legacy. So
There's
now
a new Jurassic Park movie?
What?
They
Is he
just
going to make
announced
Jurassic
it.
Park canon in DC as well?
No, but so someone asked.
If it's good, it will be canon.
Yes.
Someone asked James Gunn, you said you'll address the universe shift between Peacemaker seasons. So the new DCU is a loose continuation of the universe where Peacemaker season 1 occurred, A Flashpoint-like event shifted the Season 1 universe into the DCU with some elements changed and others. Peacemaker unchanged? Or will Peacemaker 2 DCU be a completely distinct universe from Peacemaker Season 1 Snyder Hamada universe with no past or current links whatsoever between the two? So,
what a mouthful.
yes. But the whole point is James Gunn
was
came...
this on X?
Yes. James Gunn came out and said, announced his slate, right? Saying Shazam 2 doesn't matter anymore. The Flash doesn't really matter. Aquaman, no. It's all about Creature Commandos, Superman Legacy, Blue Beetles. The character is going to be like, he basically undercut all those movies to say like his universe was going to be different. Mm-hmm. He never said anything else. Like, but now with Peacemaker, he responds with this. All I can say is what I've said before. Canon starts with Creature Commandos / Superman. As to how Peacemaker fits in, you'll have to wait for that. But the first season is worth watching for a multitude of reasons. So now he's basically being like, I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. You have to watch it to see how it's going to fit in.
That's smart.
Right.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is,
people to watch
learned
it.
his lesson.
what I'm saying is like when it's something
I would do
that
the same thing.
when it's something that he's doing and his wife is in, he's like, stay tuned. With the other ones, he's like, these don't matter. These don't matter.
No,
which is silly.
He should have done that for all the movies.
Yes,
He should have.
He should have
That's
done that same
exactly
strat.
because he's the head of DC.
Yeah.
He's not just the head of his movies.
All movies that are released under his umbrella, which
Right.
is anything for the past year, if it succeeds, it's a success.
Right.
Success
And
for the
he
company.
needed, instead of undercutting those movies, he should have tried to get Aquaman to make $1 billion, like the first one.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have announced his slate until Aquaman was out. Like it should have been like January 1st would be like, this is the new slate. Because
Should have been a post-credit scene in Aquaman too.
yeah, like everything
he
blows
just
up
comes
and
out.
he shows up and he's like, new slate,
everybody.
baby. And then Peacemaker comes out and they do their
little
dance.
dance.
Season 1. No, but to me, it's just funny to me. That's like when it's other, like as the head of DC, it was like, you should have shielded the other directors and the other stories, but you're just doing that for your own projects, which is a little
I mean,
lame.
what you should do is you should try to make the most money possible
Right.
for the company, which would be promoting every movie.
That's what Cavill would have done. Genuine.
Shut up.
I don't know about that.
Cares about people. Cares about others. You know? Not James Gunn, though. Nope. Not here. Anyways, that's all I got.
I should get like a commission for some artwork of like Cavill and Snyder, like in the clouds, like touching each other's hands,
Yeah.
and you know,
The
as
Sistine
angel.
Chapel.
Yeah, the Sistine Chapel,
Touching fingers.
and we'll put it in the backdrop here.
That'd be great.
Sick.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be
Crystal,
very.
get on it.
She's
She's
shaking her
fist
head
bumping
no.
in the other room.
No, she's not okay with that.
I think that's it. Is
I
there
think
anything
so.
else you guys want to say before we go our separate ways?
Any closing remarks?
Before we end this,
No.
any Nerd Age recommends? No?
Kevin
Nothing?
Feige was seen with the Deadpool 3 logo.
Yeah, so I posted about that on X. So an artist came up with that. It's like the
The hybrid
Deadpool,
face. Yeah.
the Deadpool and the Wolverine, like in a circle.
Yeah, one half. the face.
And the artist was like, "Yeah, I came up with that." And then to see it on his hat, he was like, "I was just a little disappointed that they didn't reach out to me."
yeah.
Whoa, man.
He's like, "I was just one of them. Like, it would have been cool if they were like, hey, can we use this?" He's like, "But." Because
Sure.
apparently he came up with that like a year or something ago, and he's been posting it. And then that's the exact same thing he had on his hat. And
You
so
could
they're
probably
like,
sue him.
interesting. Apparently there's a Deadpool 3 TV spot for the Super Bowl.
Hey, we called it.
Called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nothing else. Rings of Power isn't doing
Dude.
it.
How do you know?
Because they announced it. Amazon
no.
said they're not doing
We
the
never
trailer.
know until we show. Until you
They're
watch
just trying to divert.
Yeah. So apparently it's only going to be Deadpool 3 with a little tease, and then
Only
they'll
commercial?
have
Is that the only?
a trailer.
Show us over and over.
Every commercial. Disney's like, this is the only Marvel
This is
show
the
we got
37th
movies
time
coming
we're
out.
seeing this.
How
So-
much money do they have? Holy crap.
A lot. And then the full trailer will drop.
What if every commercial break is like one word of the trailer? So like you get and then another word
Oh,
next
man.
time.
Oh, they got Zack Snyder to do it in super slow motion.
Yeah, there you go.
It's only a 15-second clip, but it goes for 15 minutes.
That'd be nuts. Rebel Moon season 2. I mean, part 2.
Yeah. Hey, That was a great podcast.
That was one of our best episodes.
I really enjoyed seeing your guys' top 10. That was really cool. And to kind of see the crossovers between ours. Which one do you think was the most surprising, I guess, from everyone's point of view? What do you think I think yours kind of was surprising. I wouldn't have guessed Truman Show and whatever.
I have a good variety on my list. What can I say? I'm a well-rounded individual.
I think I knew pretty much what Josh was going to do.
Oh,
I knew Beauty and the Beast was going to be there. That's the one that surprised me.
Yeah,
Monster
that's
Calls.
surprising too.
Across the Spider-Verse?
I think 3.
I guess that one too, because that's a garbage pick. If we're going to be honest here.
Whoa.
On
didn't
both
like
of
the
you
movie?
guys.
Where was that energy when we're doing it?
No one else was there, so I decided not to do it.
Hey, Groundhog Day, calm down.
Got him.
I just feel like, a newer movie doesn't imprint on you like, it's like...
Well,
What
it was
kind
on
of
two of
talk
our
And
lists.
especially,
It was on two of our lists,
because
so-
the second... I thought the second one was worse than the first one. That's an interesting...
It's documented on this podcast. Your opinion is trash. So
Is it just because you get motion sick by the frame rate?
No,
That's true.
No, I actually got more motion sick on the first one, but I thought the first one had a way better story. With the prowler and all that stuff. And
a
this
great
second
opinion,
one, it was
Jonah.
just like, oh, we're running around, and
That was an exact quote.
We're running around.
And,
Running around.
Well, and I think the number. I think the second one, for me, suffers from a little bit of setup syndrome. So we didn't get a full. We just got a little cliffhanger, which wasn't even really a cliffhanger for me. And that's why I think the third one's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and it was also like, oh, we can't be together. After the first one, it's like, oh man, he's in love with Gwen, and they're like, in the first 10 minutes, it's like, oh, Gwen's around. Okay,
Yeah, we get
bye,
it.
Gwen. We good.
I don't think you watched the same movie. We did. Because the first 10 minutes is actually just all about Gwen, actually. So
Yeah.
you're wrong.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You're
Like,
wrong about your timing.
That's what I'm saying. Then she shows up in his room.
No,
and he's
she
like,
doesn't.
oh, I've got
Doesn't have
notebooks.
to, like-
I've got pictures.
That's an
of
hour
you.
into the
Good
film.
drawing.
Yeah, it is. It's okay. It's all right.
It's not as good. It's interesting. Interesting.
Maybe top 12, not 10. I'm just joking.
That'll do it for us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You can check us out on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. We'll be back next week with more of the Nerd Age podcast. Thanks so much for hanging out. See you later.
See you.
Bye.